Welcome to A Transformed Life with Nikki Clarke, a show about relationship and personal growth.
Good day. My name is Nikki Clarke, and I am so thrilled to be here with you today. I am excited to share that this is the very first podcast of my new show called A Transformed Life. And it's a show about relationships and personal growth. I've been wanting to do this for some time, and after some reflection, I feel that this is the right time to share this journey with you. And this new podcast is my heartfelt take on relationships and personal growth. There's so much is happening in the world, and I see people searching for truth and sound guidance. And I'm certainly not claiming to have all the answers. I'm far from perfect, but I do have wisdom to share from what life has taught me. So I call them lessons. You know, the lessons and the blessings that you get from learning the experience become blessings. And I want to share what I've learned with you. So the first thing I want to talk about today in this podcast is genuine connections. And I've been witnessing, how people are really craving genuine connections. So I'll share a little bit of what I believe are 5 things people should be aware of to build a genuine connection, and also 5 things that potentially sabotage genuine connections. So the first one, and I'll pause if you want to write these down, but the first one is honesty. To build a genuine connection, you need to have honesty. And I believe honesty is freedom. Okay. So lies create confusion. Lies don't have to be things that you make up or embellish through verbal exchange. It could be actually withholding information. Omission of information, I believe, is lying. And that can create too confusion and chaos, depending on how much depth there is in the lie. So truth creates clarity and honesty, even when it's uncomfortable, sets the foundation for deep and lasting trust. And it's not about being brutally honest, but being respectfully transparent. And being transparent about who you are, what you feel, what you need, and when you can be honest with yourself and others, real connection begins. So I think what I have learned where I have not done well in that area is that I haven't been honest with myself. And I've had this desire to people please. With the people pleasing, you're not being honest, because you're most often than not compromising your values. You're compromising how you feel about the situation or a person in order to just kind of get along, forfeiting what you need, your personal needs are, to that person. So that ends up maybe beneficial for the one receiving all the good stuff, all the good energy, but it's not a mutual benefit for the person who is pleasing the other. So that is where it can be very detrimental in building a foundation, because it's not built on a mutual interest and not complete honesty. So that's where the sabotage comes in. And it's the fear and the secrecy of revealing who you really are and what you truly want, and not being able to communicate that. That causes a lot of problems where honesty is concerned. Maybe you're afraid of being judged, or maybe being abandoned or misunderstood. So these could be some of the reasons why you hide behind maybe a persona, or you decide to, forfeit what you need and people please, like I, was illustrating before. Secrets and half-truths can feel safe in the short term, but they corrode trust over time. And dishonesty, even to protect someone, traps you both in illusion. And real love can't grow in the dark. So honesty is freedom. Right. So the second thing that I've learned about building a solid relationship is communication is everything. And it's not just what you say, it's how, when, and why you say it. Healthy relationships require open, two-way conversations, listening without interrupting, actively listening, validating without fixing, and expressing without blaming creates space for growth. And if you want love to last, communication can't be an afterthought. It has to be a culture. So what that means is communication is key. It's everything. And what breaks it down is assumptions and defensiveness. And I know that I've been guilty of that. So poor communication isn't just about silence. It's about talking at each other instead of with each other, and assuming others should just know, cutting them off without really giving them a chance to, properly communicate what happened in a particular instance. And I'm not talking about, that one time a mistake happened or miscommunication happened. It's just like, cut the ties and that's it. It may be a period of time of this behavior. And you've reached a point of no return. You're like, okay, I need to cut this person off. But if you're cutting them off, very early without really hearing them out, that causes obviously a halt in the communication. Or reacting defensively instead of listening deeply creates this distance and pride. Pride, number one killer in a lot of relationships. It speaks louder than curiosity. And that's when the connection breaks down. So yeah, that is, the things that I've learned. Communication is vital. And what I've learned too, as I get younger, is that it's okay to speak your truth. You don't have to shout your truth. You can speak it gently and firmly, in a way that you're, telling your story. You're giving truth to power and saying, this is how I felt. This is what it means to me. And this is how you're showing up. This is how you're making me feel, that kind of thing. So using what I've learned is I statements. I statements is an assertive way of communicating how you feel. And that looks like when you leave the dishes unwashed in the sink, that makes me frustrated. And I would like you to please just have, so a few minutes to put aside to wash the dishes. So the I statement identifies the behavior that has caused you some upset or concern, how it made you feel, and then what the consequence is, or the action to follow through in order to fix what's happening in that I statement that you share. So, using the I statement to fix communication, I think is very, very, very good to do. It's something that I've been using And it's helping me a lot in communicating my feelings. So number 2, we talked about communication is key. Number 3, respect builds trust. Respect builds trust. So respect means valuing another person's voice, space, and boundaries, even when you don't agree. And it's in the way you speak to each other in conflict and how you support each other in public and private. So when respect is mutual, trust deepens and love feels safe. There's nothing worse than confiding in someone, and the person you confide in something very personal creates an unsafe environment for you, or an unsafe relationship, because they're sharing what you told them, or you share something deeply personal that is affecting the way you communicate or how you feel, or it's a detrimental kind of situation, but it's left on kind of deaf ears. Nothing is being done about it, what you've shared. It's just like, okay, you've disclosed something, and the person just moves on. They don't do anything about it. So not feeling very heard or respected in that situation. So that is kind of the setting the stage for conflict later on. It can happen right away through a direct confrontation, or it may brew over time and then have like a breaking point where you just blow up, or you just decide to cut off the relationship because you're not feeling respected. So respect, how that kind of deteriorates if not checked. Disrespect shows up sometimes subtly in eye rolls. Very often it's nonverbal, eye rolls. Okay, here she goes again, or maybe the loud. It's usually nonverbal. Certain condescending tones. Oh, do you have something to say again? Ignoring boundaries, or trying to control the other person. You're trying to control them by, no, that's not what happened. This is what really happened. So gaslighting. Gaslighting is when you totally disagree, you deny the person's experience, and give them an alternate kind of explanation of what happened, and that can be very harmful. If it's done over and over again, it's considered emotional abuse if you're not acknowledging how the person's feeling and making them feel heard, and switching their reality into something else you want to provide for them. It's manipulation. So definitely respect is not growing in that particular instance. The disrespect is brewing here. So control of the other person, constant criticism, dismissing someone's thoughts sends the message, you're not safe here. Okay? Get out. And so without mutual respect, trust crumbles and resentment rises, and potentially the relationship will fall apart if it's not fixed. So respect is very important in building a healthy relationship. Number 4, accountability heals. Accountability heals. So what this means is being able to say, you know what, I messed up. I was wrong. Or I hurt you and I'm working to do better. Or I hear what you're saying. I acknowledge what you're saying. And I understand that was just not a good thing to do. I really did not do the right thing in this situation or for you. And I'm wrong. I want to do better. It's a sign of strength, not weakness. Accountability invites repair, and without it, wounds stay open. So real love isn't about being flawless, because no one is perfect. No one on this green earth is perfect. But accountability heals. It's about being willing to own your part and commit to change. So I am responsible for my actions that hurt you. I am wrong in assuming this or doing that. I take responsibility for my behavior. Is a step in the right direction where healing is concerned, and mending the relationship. Not taking accountability is where you're going to have a problem, when it turns into the blame game. Well, I mean, I wouldn't have done that if it weren't for you, or if it wasn't for your mother. She made me do it. She pushed me, so I reacted that way, and it's not my fault. It's your fault too, because you didn't stop it. So that kind of blame game, nobody wins in that. And denial, oh, that wasn't me. Yeah, whatever you saw, that wasn't me. It may have been my evil twin, but it wasn't me. So healing stops when ego steps in. Healing stops when ego steps in. So if one or both people refuse to acknowledge mistakes, or they shift the blame or deny responsibility, pain festers. I'm sorry you feel that way is not an apology. Without genuine ownership, growth becomes impossible and wounds turn into walls. Now, I remember when I was teaching early childhood education, and we were talking about children and apologies. A child under the age of 6 really doesn't understand what they're sorry for when they're doing things. Now, if a child is, let's say, 3 years old, and they go up to another child and they clock them in the head with a block, and the other child cries, unless they are very astute in developing empathy. Empathy is, understanding how the other person feels, putting themselves in their shoes. If a child hasn't developed empathy at that early age, they really don't care why that person is crying. So when teachers say, oh, tell Timothy you're sorry, go ahead, tell Timothy you're sorry, they'll go, yeah, sorry. But are they feeling sorry? No. And the same thing goes without taking accountability as an adult. If you don't feel the sorry, if it's just not there, if you don't have the empathy, if you don't have the sympathy for the person, saying sorry means nothing. What are you sorry for? So when you're doing the accountability, you are sharing how you made the person feel, and taking accountability for it. You're taking complete ownership. And that will lead the way to healing the relationship. Now, the 5th point I have is love is action. Love is action. Love isn't just about something you say. It's something you show every day. And it's in the little things like showing up, being present, checking in, keeping promises, having integrity, offering grace. Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, don't worry about it. Things happen. We'll keep it moving. Offering grace. It's consistent care, especially when it's inconvenient. And words are beautiful, but actions are what prove them. So where love is missing, saying I love you, but not showing up emotionally, mentally, or physically, it creates confusion. It's like a mixed message. Oh, I love you so much, but you miss special occasions. You don't follow through. You don't call back. You don't text back. It's kind of a hollow, 3 words. It doesn't resonate much if there's no action behind it. So it creates confusion. And love needs nurturing. So when actions don't align with words, it signals a lack of care or commitment. So small acts of love done consistently matter more than grand gestures done once. So I hope this has been able to help you. And yeah, I hope you tune in next time to some more words of wisdom on a transformed life. I'm Nikki Clarke.